Hey guys, what's up? This is Sunny, and in today's video, we're talking about university admissions exams for the United Kingdom. So if you're looking to apply to the UK, keep watching because we're going to cover some of the most important exams that you might have to do to be able to get in. Let's go. All right, guys. So basically, there are two main types, I would say three main types of university admissions exams in the UK. The first type is that many of you would have heard is basically English proficiency exam. This is something you need to get in if you're a student from outside of the UK and you're coming from a country where English is not a majority language. So for example, if you're from Canada or the US or Australia, New Zealand, you do not need to prove that you can speak English, but you are from, if you're from Mongolia or from Mexico or from Switzerland, you do. And in the UK, typically you need to use the IELTS exam, and we have a separate video about IELTS that we did with one of my colleagues, Joe, but actually there are other exams as well that you can do instead of IELTS. And on your screen now, you can see a webpage from the UK government that lists these exams. Most universities will accept them. The link description is below as well, so you can check them out. One of them is called PTE, and there are a couple others. There are typically four, if I'm correct, four of them in total. So the first type are the English exams, the English proficiency exams that you might have to do. And remember that if you have GCSE in English or IGCSE or you're doing the IB and you have English of a certain score, some universities may accept that as well. So your best bet is to check individually with the particular university whether the qualification you have fits with their admissions criteria. So that's type number one. Then there's type number two, which are exams that you need to do for some universities for certain subjects. So for example, if you're applying to Oxford for PPE, Philosophy, Politics, Economics, you have to do the TSA, Thinking Skills Assessment. If you're applying for physics, at Oxford, you have to do the PAT, Physics Aptitude Test. If you're applying for mathematics at Oxford or at Imperial College London, you have to do the MAT, Maths Aptitude Test. So but you don't have to do the test if you're applying to other mathematics courses at other universities. So these are quite niche and only some universities require them. And again, your best bet is to check out the admissions page of the course at the university that you're applying for, to check their entry requirements to see if if you need to do that test. The registration for this test typically is around 30th of September. So make sure that you register for them nice and early, because if you miss the registration deadline, typically there are no exceptions and they will not accept you for the test. And if you need to register for extra time, the registration for those is even earlier. So again, something you need to bear in mind. So that's the second type. And then the third type are tests that generally you need to do regardless of where you apply for a given subject. So for example, majority of students in the UK applying for medicine will need to sit the UCAT, exam, in some cases the BMAT, but basically almost every single medical school requires a UCAT or a BMAT. Likewise, if you're applying for law, most students will need to do the LNAT, which is a test for aspiring lawyers. Whether you're applying to X or Y university, most of them will require the LNAT score, and again, you have to register well in advance for those. So three types. The first type is the English proficiency exam that you may or may not have to do depending on your nationality and whether you have IB, A-level, GCSE qualifications proving your English ability. The second type are specific exams for specific courses at specific universities, which are quite niche. So for example, if you're applying to study engineering, you do have to do the ENGAA at Cambridge, but you do not have to do this exam if you're applying to Edinburgh or Bristol or other universities, for example. So that's the second type. And the third type, two exams for either medicine or for law that you may have to do. And in fact, most universities will require them. So do check out the admissions page for those. Hope this gives you a good overview. All the best with your applications. As ever, remember that the best way to reach me and to connect with me is on Twitter. And I also write a newsletter that I send every 2 weeks with latest tips on university admissions and information on some really cool CV building events. So do check out the sign up page and give it a go. All the best, take care, and speak soon.